Chapter 4157, Desert Divine Palace 6. With a sword over his shoulder, Minji darted a sidelong glance at Zhao Xin when he felt the gaze on him. "Heh!" The teenager smirked, then took another step. Zhao Xin was speechless. This teenager was more talented than she was. Zhao Xin wasn't the only one surprised. Liang Jin and Ji Xingqing were equally surprised. They were from the Mountain Sea Academy. What did that mean? The Mountain Sea Academy was the top academy of the Dian Empire and one of the 4 major forces and 6 major sections. It used to be one of the 6 major sects, but it had almost risen to one of the 4 major forces. But now, they had been surpassed by the nobodies of an uncivilized land. Minji soon walked past them and followed Feng Wu. Zhao Xin clenched her fists. Walking fast doesn't mean anything. You'll only win if you can make it to the end. These 2 people are going to surpass us. Forget it. They'll let them. Going fast doesn't mean anything. But to her surprise, Feng Wu and Minji weren't the only ones. As for Feng Sun, Xian Yi, Chaoga, and Duan Chaoga, they had all surpassed her. Zhao Xin cried out in frustration. Update on Biomicron X0VL. Siomicron M, senior sister Zhao, are you alright? Ji Xingqing looked uneasy. Zhao Xin gritted her teeth. They've all surpassed us. All of them. Ji Xingqing said, "Well, I don't know what to say. After all, I'm still confused." That was beyond their imagination. Zhao Xin gritted her teeth. They're just walking fast. What good will that do? We don't know who's going to have the last laugh. Ji Xingqing said, "Senior sister, if walking fast doesn't mean anything, why did you leave first? Feng, we should have left first." Zhao Xin didn't know what to say. This junior brother was so annoying. Zhao Xin said, "They're just talented, that's all." Ji Xingqing stared at Zhao Xin in disbelief. "Senior sister, can you hear yourself? One's talent will determine how far one can go in the future. Are you out of your mind?" Zhao Xin threw a dirty look at Ji Xingqing. She was jealous, and what was wrong with venting her jealousy? Did he have to be so serious? She was so mad. Liang Jin smiled bitterly. "We've been misled. It seems that there are talented people in that place as well." Zhao Xin said, "I don't believe that they can get to the 2nd floor." Ji Xingqing asked, "What if they do?" Zhao Xin smirked. "If they really can get to the 2nd floor, you can pick anything in my pouch." Ji Xingqing's eyes lit up. "Senior sister, will you keep your promise?" Zhao Xin smirked. "Since when do I go back on my word?" Ji Xingqing said, "Senior sister, look. Miss Feng Wu is almost at the stairs. She's going up." Zhao Xin said, "She can't get up there." Ji Xingqing said, "You never know." Just then, they heard a voice. "It looks quite boisterous here. Brother Morong." Chapter 4158, Desert Divine Palace 7. Zhao Xin turned around and saw Murong Linhai. She waved at him in excitement. "Brother Morong, come here." It was indeed Murong Linhai of the Murong family and his friends. The Murong family was also one of the 6 major sects, and they often interacted with the Mountain Sea Academy. Therefore, Zhao Xin knew Murong Linhai, the teenager of the Murong family. Murong Linhai was one of the best among the younger generation of the Murong family. He had a junior sister and several junior brothers with him. The restriction outside has been lifted. Murong Linhai walked toward Zhao Xin and the others. "Which one of you has removed it?" Liang Jin was about to say something when Zhao Xin cut him off. It was a coincidence. Coincidence? Liang Jin glanced at Zhao Xin. That didn't seem like a coincidence at all. Zhao Xin gave Liang Jin a warning look before turning to Murong Linhai. "Brother Linhai, you're here already. We'll be relieved to see you here." Murong Linhai smiled. "Don't worry. With me around, you won't run into any danger." The person behind Murong Linhai reminded him. Murong Linhai nodded and said to Zhao Xin, "Since the door is open, let's move on. Choosing the prayer mat will be the most difficult trial. There are 6 palace masters in this place. Apart from Luo Zilin, the genius of the Luo family, no one has inherited the teachings of the first palace. Update on Biomicron X0VL. Siamakron M. There's so many of us here. Maybe one of us will be lucky enough to inherit the teachings of a palace master. Murong Linhei's eyes flickered. Zhao Xian nodded. If anyone has the highest chance of inheriting the teachings of the masters, it has to be Brother Lin Hai. Murong Linhai chuckled and said humbly, "You flatter me. Since we're all here, of course, we all have a chance." Zhao Xian tried to flatter him again. Brother Murong is the most capable and talented of us all. If the masters have to pick someone, of course they'll pick you. Murong Linhai was pleased, but he still said humbly, "Luck is the most important thing in the palace. Talent doesn't count. It's an equal opportunity for everyone." Liang Jin and Ji Xingqing exchanged looks, and both shook their heads. Zhao Xian was flattering Murong Linhai too much. Just then, Murong Linhai heard a noise from the second floor. What was that? Murong Linhai frowned. Zhao Xian said, "Someone has gone up there." Gone up? When? How? How can an ordinary person get up there? Murong Linhai blurted out. Staring at the stone staircase, he grew anxious. He wanted to run as fast as he could, but the gravity in the hall was like a swamp that stopped him. It would take him a while to gather his spiritual essence and move forward. He wasn't alone. Liang Jin and the others felt the same. Zhao Xian looked troubled. Murong Linhai asked harshly, "What on earth happened?" Zhao Xian said grumpily, "There are a few cultivators from an uncivilized world. Somehow, they've come to the Dian Empire." Chapter 41-59, Desert Divine Palace. Were they the ones who opened the door? Murong Linhai looked alarmed. Zhao Xian nodded. That's right. The leader is called Feng Wu. She opened the door to the desert palace by accident. Are you sure it was opened by accident? Murong Linhai asked. Zhao Xian nodded. Yes, it was an accident. Only then did Murong Linhai feel a little better. If one had unintentionally opened a door, that was luck, but if the person opened the door after hard work, it would be a sign of capability. Murong Linhai wouldn't allow anyone better than him in that aspect, especially those of his generation. But after much difficulty, Murong Linhai, Zhao Xian, and the others finally reached the second floor. They saw 5 people each sitting on a rush cushion. Golden light shone from them, and they looked as if they were covered by Buddhist light. They sat cross-legged with spiritual essence lingering around them, looking like gods and goddesses descending to the mortal world. What? Murong Linhai's face darkened. It was obvious that all 5 of them were receiving the inheritance. Zhao Xian cried out as well. She had said a lot of bad things about these people on their way here, but reality had just slapped her in the face. Are they accepting the legacy? Zhao Xian couldn't believe her eyes. That's impossible. Murong Linhai said, Of course it's possible. It's happening. Murong Linhai took a deep breath. There were only 6 palace masters in total. After Luo Zilin inherited one of them, there were only 5 left. Murong Linhai wanted to say that it was impossible, just like Zhao Xian did. But he had to admit that it was the truth. Zhao Xian asked, Did all 5 masters give away their legacies? Luo Zilin used to be the only one who had obtained it, and it wasn't like one could buy it wholesale. Murong Linhai threw a dirty look at the 5 people, took a deep breath, and turned to leave. Brother Linhai, where are you going? Zhao Xian rushed to his side. Before Murong Linhai could say anything, one of his junior sisters smirked. The treasure of this trial has been taken by someone else. What's the point of staying here? Are you waiting for them to humiliate you after they wake up? Naturally, we're going to find a second trial now. The members of the Murong family left in a hurry, but Feng Wu and her friends left a lasting impression on them. One didn't have to obtain the treasures to pass the 18 trials. In fact, there were 18 hidden treasures in the trials. If one was lucky enough, they could inherit or take them. If not, they would simply move forward. However, such an opportunity could only be accessed once in a lifetime. It would be such a pity to miss it. Zhao Xian glared at Feng Wu. It wouldn't be so bad if only Feng Wu had inherited the legacy of a palace master. But why did all 5 of them inherit it? Why? Why? Zhao Xian wouldn't accept it. Only then did Liang Jin and Ji Xingqing realize what had happened and draw in their breaths. As expected of Sister Feng Wu, Ji Xingqing gave her a thumbs up. That's incredible. All 5 of them. The chance of getting even one was slim, but they all got it. Chapter 4160, Desert Divine Palace 9. Liang Jin suddenly said, "Are they lucky, too talented, or too capable?" No one answered. Liang Jin asked another question. "What about the second trial? Is it going tobe?" At that thought, Liang Jin said in a hurry, "Let's not wait anymore. Let's go to the second floor now, so that we don't have to wait for Feng Wu to finish her trial. I think she's a little unbelievable." They hurried toward the second trial. To their surprise, they couldn't obtain the treasure, nor could Murong Lin Hai. Naturally, Feng Wu, who had arrived later, got it. 3 months passed in a hurry. That day, they reached the 18th trial. "Xiao Wu, Sister Xiao Wu, can I call you that?" Ji Xingqing wanted to kneel down. His 3 months in Dynasty Road had changed his opinion on everything. How could anyone do such a thing? She was unbelievably lucky. In the first few trials, they wouldn't believe it and insisted on competing with Feng Wu to see who would get the treasure first. However, after a few trials, they lost so miserably that they couldn't find anything. Feng Wu took all the treasures. It just so happened that all the treasures here were helpful for one's cultivation, and they could only be used on the spot. Hence, no one could take them away. The trials were supposed to be so difficult that only a handful of geniuses of the Dayan Empire had been able to obtain a few things. However, Feng Wu had never missed any of them. Ji Xingqing looked enviously at Feng Sun, Xian Yi, and the others. Of course, he was envious. When they first met, Chaoga hadn't reached the spiritual overlord stage yet. Feng Sun and Xian Yi were intermediate spiritual overlords, while Yuminji was a peak spiritual overlord. However, with all the cultivation treasures they had obtained over the past 3 months, their capability had skyrocketed. Duan Chaoga was already a peak spiritual overlord. Feng Sun and Xian Yi became junior spiritual saints. Yuminji had long reached the spiritual saint stage and was already an intermediate one. Ji Xingqing was so envious that he almost burst into tears, for Yuminji was as capable as he was now. Just a few days ago, he had a competition with Yuminji, but Yuminji had outshone him. Ji Xingqing looked up at the sky and wanted to cry. He was the genius of the Mountain Sea Academy, and even his father had praised his talent more than once. However, these people from the wild lands, Ji Xingqing wasn't the only one feeling envious. Zhao Xian felt like she had been on a roller coaster ride. At first, she tried her best to slander Feng Wu and her friends, wishing that she could reduce them to nothing. However, as time went by, she had been shocked by Feng Wu over and over again and had been humiliated repeatedly. By now, she had become so quiet that she couldn't even hear a word, for she didn't want to hear anything about Feng Wu at all. Seeing the blood lotus in Feng Wu's hand, Ji Xingqing almost wanted to beg her for it. Feng Wu casually handed the lotus to Chaoga and said, "Eat it with Xian Yi and the others, then sit down and cultivate. You still have a lot of room for breakthroughs. While we're still on this road, make good use of this time to cultivate." Duan Chaoga looked at the lotus and nodded in excitement. She clenched her fists and said, "I'll become a spiritual saint as soon as I can." Chapter 4161, Desert Divine Palace 10. The others had all reached the spiritual saint stage, but not her. She wouldn't want to slow them down. What Duan Chaoga didn't know was that she had been making breakthroughs so fast that many geniuses had to cultivate for decades to catch up with her. Ji Xingqing gave Feng Wu a pleading look. Feng Wu glanced at him. "Aren't you the son of the head of the Mountain Sea Academy? Do you need more resources?" "Sister Xiao Wu, it's completely different. Dynasty Road is a place that youngsters of influential families like us can use to make rapid breakthroughs. Therefore, when we reach a bottleneck, we'll choose to come here to cultivate and search for treasures. Only by cultivating in Dynasty Road can one perfectly match the spiritual essence here and achieve twice the effect with half the effort. Otherwise, Duan Chaoga and the others wouldn't have been able to make such rapid breakthroughs. But no one knew you would be such a genius. How'd you do it? You've plundered most of the cultivation resources along the way. You have no idea how jealous everyone else is. Ji Xingqing looked at the crowd a few steps away as he spoke to Feng Wu. As they walked toward the destination, more and more cultivators gathered around. Most of them were from influential families, and they were all proud and unruly. They already had a problem with Feng Wu. Feng Wu said proudly, "I didn't steal anything. I got it with my own ability. Why should I care what other people think?" Although that was the case, Ji Xingqing was still worried about Feng Wu, for there were simply too many people eyeing her. Look at the blue-robed men behind me. Do you see them? They're from Prince Yan's residence, and the other team are all girls. They're from the Red Feather Room. Ji Xingqing introduced them to Feng Wu. The chosen ones of this year may not all be the heirs to their families, but they're all core members. You've taken what should have been theirs. Hey, wait. I did take the treasures, but I didn't take any of their stuff. Even without me, they probably wouldn't have been able to get those things, Feng Wu said grumpily. Ji Xingqing said, yes, they probably won't be able to get it without you, but there's still a small chance that they'll get it. They'll only think that you've stolen their treasure, and they hate you now. So be careful. Feng Wu thought to herself, I'm a spiritual sovereign now, and am not afraid of these people. I don't think I'll ever see them again after I get out. So be it. Feng Wu shrugged. Gosh, don't tell me you don't know that there's one last trial on Dynasty Road. Ji Xingqing reminded her in a low voice. Feng Wu said, I've passed all 17 trials. Are you saying that I can't pass the last one? Ji Xingqing said earnestly, this trial is different. It's very different. Really? Crossing her arms, Feng Wu asked Ji Xingqing curiously, what do you mean? Ji Xingqing said, this trial isn't like the previous 17 trials, where you can search for treasures. This trial is a battle. Do you see those people behind us? They're the genius cultivators of the 4 forces and 6 major sects, and you'll have to fight them to win this trial. Chapter 4162, 5v5 Battle 1. What will I get? Seeing that Ji Xingqing wanted to say something but hesitated, Feng Wu asked curiously. Ji Xingqing said, a lot of people will be watching this battle. The battlefield may be on Dynasty Road, but do you see the arena? The arena can broadcast the battle live. That is to say, all the forces and sects are watching the upcoming battle. Each member of the team that wins in the end will receive a 5 spiritual glazed flame pill. It's a supreme grade pill that the 4 major sects and 6 major forces have hired the Medicine King of the Divine Medicine Valley to refine. It's very beneficial to our foundation and marrow. It's almost supreme grade. Feng Wu asked curiously, how supreme grade is it? Tilting his head, Ji Xingqing gave it some thought before explaining to Feng Wu. For instance, I'm not as talented as Feng Sun and the others now, right? But if I win, they'll take a 5 spiritual glazed flame pill, and after absorbing it, even if I'm not as talented as Feng Sun, it'll still be on par with him. That's how effective it is. Feng Wu rubbed her chin. It was indeed a great pill. It just so happened that Feng Sun and the others couldn't make much progress anymore. With this pill, they might be able to make some more progress for a while. Such rapid progress would have been harmful to their health, but Feng Wu was a medicine refiner herself and had experienced it herself. Hence, she had been guiding their spiritual essence and removing impurities for them the whole time. Feng Wu suddenly remembered something. Wait, the students of the 4 forces and 6 major sects are taking part, aren't they? What kind of force are we, then? Ji Xingqing scratched his head. Well, I don't think you're qualified to participate. Feng Wu stared at Ji Xingqing. Ji Xingqing said, well, after all, the 4 forces and 6 sects donate so much money and resources every year to the Medicine God Valley so that their descendants can get their hands on the pills. They don't expect to give the opportunity to someone else, so you don't get to participate. Feng Wu rolled her eyes at Ji Xingqing. We're not qualified. You're so happy, aren't you? Ji Xingqing said, Of course not. While Feng Wu was talking to Ji Xingqing, a group of people was talking nearby as well. Murong Linhai had suffered a blow and had yet to recover. He had been living in Feng Wu's shadow the whole time and had almost gotten the treasure a few times. However, at the last moment, it would somehow fall into Feng Wu's hands and be used by her and her friends. Murong Linhai had witnessed the progress of Feng Wu's team, and he was still at the same level as when he entered Dynasty Road. You didn't get anything? Murong Linhai, are you that bad? A taunting voice came from the team next door. It was a teenage girl. Yin Qian, what are you talking about? Murong Linhai was infuriated. Yin Qian was the sister of Princess Yin Ling and the daughter of Lord Yin. She was the one who led the team this time. Didn't you say so yourself? We didn't find anything along the way, but that girl took everything. Yin Qian pointed at Feng Wu a few steps away and frowned. She's not that impressive. Why are you praising her? Chapter 4163 5v5 Battle 2U TED by BXN0VL Siamakron M. Murong Linhai smirked inwardly. You don't think she's that good? That's because she's been hiding her true capability. You didn't get defeated all the way here, so of course you don't know. However, Murong Linhai wouldn't be so kind as to tell Princess Yin Qian how terrifying Feng Wu was. If Feng Wu wasn't so capable, Murong Linhai would have snatched the treasure from her already. What's that look on your face? Don't you agree with me? Princess Yin Qian glanced at Murong Linhai. Apart from the Mountain Sea Academy and the Murong family, no one else had seen how capable Feng Wu was, so they didn't think much of her. Murong Linhai heaved a sigh and told Princess Yin Qian, Fine, we'll tell you the truth. We've passed 17 trials, and Feng Wu has obtained a lot of cultivation treasures. If you really have a chance to fight her, be careful. I think she's already more capable than you. Princess Yin Qian smirked. Liang Jin said the same thing. Are you all flattering Feng Wu just because she's pretty? Murong Linhai, I didn't know you were that kind of person. Murong Linhai said in resignation. You didn't know that. Princess Yin Qian waved her hands. Even if we were late, we still got the Heaven Heart fruit. You didn't. Murong Linhai wanted to say something else, but Princess Yin Qian cut him off. Forget it. You don't have to say anything. I know you're on Feng Wu's side. Just go to her. She left with her teammates after that. Murong Linhai was speechless. Brother Murong, that's a bit over the top. The sacred son of Formless Sword sect patted Murong Linhai on the shoulder and left with Princess Yin Qian. Murong Linhai smirked inwardly. You idiots will soon enjoy the shadow of Feng Wu's terrifying capability. Oomph. Just then, someone walked up to Murong Linhai and whispered something in his ear. What? She's not qualified? Murong Linhai frowned. Why is that? It was Murong Linqing, a junior of the Murong family. Murong Linqing went to see Ji Xingqing. Ji Xingqing nodded. That's right. According to senior brother, this is a competition among the 4 forces and 6 major sections. People of other lands can only watch, so they're not qualified. Murong Linqing felt sorry for Feng Wu. He had been waiting to see Feng Wu defeat Princess Yin Qian, but Feng Wu wasn't qualified to fight. If Feng Wu wasn't qualified, would the Murong family be qualified to become the final team? Murong Linhai looked behind him and shook his head. That wasn't possible. The team this time consisted of the Dynasty team, the Primordial Pagoda, the Formless Sword Sect, Red Feather Room, the Mountain Sea Academy, the Murong family, and the Luo family. Of the 7 families, the Dynasty team was the most capable one. The princes of the Dayan Empire were old enough to take the throne, so they all had their own supporters. The 4th prince was leading the team this time, and the Murong family supported the eldest prince because the daughter of the Murong family was going to marry him. Right now, the girls of Red Feather Room and Princess Yin Qian were all around the 4th prince. Chapter 4164 5v5 Battle 3U TED by BXN0VL Siamakron M. Were these people fawning on the 4th prince? If that was the case, the Crown Prince would be in a lot of trouble. At that thought, Murong Linhai couldn't help but look at Feng Wu. As much as he hated this girl, who had kept him from the treasure, if he could use Feng Wu to defeat the fourth prince's team. Murong Linhai rubbed his chin. There were 7 teams in total: the Dynasty Team, the Primordial Pagoda, the Formless Sword Sect, Red Feather Room, the Mountain Sea Academy, the Murong family, and the Yin family. Right now, the captains of the 7 teams were discussing among themselves. The teams had to pair up, but 7 was an odd number. The Sacred Mu Cliff, the Medicine God Valley, and the Yin family weren't here. So, which team wants to give up now? The fourth prince looked around at the crowd. No one would give up. Since no one will give up, we have 2 options. One is to have a bye, and the other is to add another team. The fourth prince naturally became the leader. He was about to say that a team would have a bye when Murong Linhai spoke. That's not fair, is it? Murong Linhai smiled. After all, whoever has a bye will be deemed lucky. How about we find another team? That way we'll have 8 teams. Liang Jin smiled bitterly to himself. Murong Linhai had been defeated by Feng Wu, and it would only make him feel better if other people were defeated as well. However, seeing the way the fourth prince was surrounded by the crowd, Liang Jin recalled how Feng Wu had saved the Mountain Sea Academy on their way there. In the end, he stepped out and said, "I think that team from another region is doing well. I think we should let them try." Murong Linhai said, "Liang Jin, you mean Feng Wu's team has done a great job on their way, and they've received more cultivation resources than natives like us. Therefore, it's a good choice to have her team as a candidate." Princess Yin Qian smirked. "Murong Linhai, are you talking about Feng Wu, who's more capable and luckier than me?" Murong Linhai smiled bitterly. "Princess Yin Qian, I didn't say that. I only said that Feng Wu was very talented and very lucky. That's it then. Since you didn't praise me like that, it means that she's better than me." Princess Yin Qian smirked and turned to the fourth prince. "I agreed to let Feng Wu's team join us. I'd like to see how amazing Feng Wu is." After that, Princess Yin Qian smirked at Murong Linhai. Her family had wanted her to marry Murong Linhai, but Murong Linhai had turned his attention to a foreign girl. Although she didn't think much of Murong Linhai either, it didn't mean that Murong Linhai could care about someone else. Therefore, although she hadn't confronted Feng Wu yet, the princess was already very hostile toward her. What she didn't know was that her sister, Princess Yanling, had been killed by Feng Wu. They interrupted the fourth prince's plan, but on second thought, the prince realized that he wouldn't choose his own team even if they had a bye. Otherwise, what would other people think of him? This was a battle to establish his authority. After all, that was what the fourth prince had planned from the very beginning, so he had brought some very promising team members with him this time. Chapter 4165, 5v5 Battle 4. He and his teammates looked at each other, and they all gave him a resolute look. "Let's have a show of hands, then. If you agree to let Feng Wu's team participate, raise your hand," said the fourth prince with a smile. There were 7 teams in total, and 4 of the team leaders needed to raise their hands. The results soon came out. Liang Jin of the Mountain Sea Academy raised his hand. So did Murong Linhai of the Murong family, Princess Yin Qian of the Yin Manor, and the fourth prince. "All right, it'll give them a place in the competition, then." The fourth prince smiled. He had raised his hand because he wanted to let everyone know that he would obtain the pill with his own capability, not by using the rules to avoid the most capable cultivators. Feng Wu was surprised when Liang Jin told her the news. "Really?" Liang Jin said, "It just so happens that we're missing a team. You're such a lucky girl." Meanwhile, people outside were also watching the upcoming battle. Because it would cost too many spirit stones to watch the process from beginning to end, almost all the family clans would only watch the final battle in the 18th trial. The mother of the fourth prince, the eldest prince, Luo Zilin, and Yin were all watching. The Primordial Pagoda, the Formless Sword Sect, Red Feather Room, the Mountain Sea Academy, and the Murong family were watching as well. They all hoped that their own clansmen could get their hands on the pills. The battle started with the drawing of lots. The 8 teams would fight 4 battles in pairs. The team leaders of each team would make the draw, and needless to say, Feng Wu herself was the team leader. Jun Linyin couldn't help but glance at Feng Wu when she walked in, for Feng Wu was already 15 years old and had grown up. No one would be able to resist her beauty when she walked in. Princess Yin Qin snorted. "Your Royal Highness, it's time to draw." That's right. The fourth prince cleared his throat to cover up his embarrassment. As a prince, he had seen his fair share of women, but Feng Wu was the first girl that had impressed him with her beauty. However, the most important thing now was to win the battle and get the pill. As for Feng Wu, as a prince, he could get anything he wanted. Feng Wu not only amazed the fourth prince, but the others as well. However, they were all focused on the upcoming battle and forgot about everything else. Feng Wu was as lucky as ever. She had picked the Murong family. Murong Linhai was dumbfounded and stared at Feng Wu. Feng Wu cleared her throat. "Well, I didn't mean to. I just can't control my luck." Taking a deep breath, Murong Linhai fought back his anger. However, on second thought, he realized that anyone below the first place would be useless in this competition, and only the top student could get the reward. Since the Murong family couldn't get the first place anyway, he might as well give up and watch the competition from the side. At that thought, Murong Linhai nodded. "Don't worry about it. Let's fight." The results soon came out. Feng Wu's team versus the Murong family. The Mountain Sea Academy versus the Dian Empire. The Lord Yan's residence versus the Primordial Pagoda. The Formless Sword sect would fight Red Feather Room. Chapter 4166. Let's fight. 1. Feng Wu's team was in the first round. When Feng Wu and her team went up the stage, many people began to whisper among themselves, and there were quite a few of them. Apart from the 4 forces and 6 major sects, there were also some itinerant cultivators. Therefore, there were at least hundreds of people in the audience. But very few people knew Feng Wu. Only the members of the Mountain Sea Academy and the Murong family, who had been defeated by Feng Wu's capability and luck, knew who she was. Only a handful of them had heard of Feng Wu's name, but most of them hadn't. Hence, when Feng Wu went up the stage, many people began to whisper among themselves. Who are they? Why are they on the stage? I don't think they're from any of the 4 forces or 6 sections. Otherwise, why haven't I seen them before? These people are so elegant. One look and you can tell that they're from a prestigious family. Don't talk about them recklessly, or they'll punish you later. Is there a new sect? Have we missed something? While they were discussing among themselves, Liang Jin of the Mountain Sea Academy stepped out to introduce Feng Wu's team. What? From the outer world? These people all look nice. I thought they were from some decent sect. I didn't know they were from the other side of the continent. Is that true? That's not right. If they're from another land, why are they qualified to participate? If we're qualified, why aren't we? They became displeased. Liang Jin frowned. He couldn't control the crowd anymore. Just then, Feng Wu frowned and said coldly, "Why? Because we can win." That intimidating voice silenced all the discussion. For some unknown reason, they felt revered when they saw the girl in red. But many people still wouldn't accept it and asked Feng Wu why she dared to say that. Feng Wu couldn't be bothered to answer their questions. Yu Minji didn't like the sound of that at all. Crossing his arms, he smirked after Feng Wu. Not only will we defeat the Murong family, but we'll also win until the end. In the end? You? The others all smirked. Feng Wu's team is so ridiculous. They're full of bullshit. They can't even a Murong family, let alone the end. Do they think they can defeat the 4th prince's team? Feng Wu rolled her eyes at Yu Minji. Yu Minji shrugged. They've underestimated you. I won't allow it. Feng Wu was speechless. Just then, the 4th prince slowly walked out, stopped in front of Feng Wu, and smiled. Did you just say that your team can defeat us? Yu Minji darted a provoking look at the 4th prince. What? You don't believe me? The 4th prince smiled. I see that you're very confident. Feng Sun crossed his arms as well and said proudly, if we can't even be confident, we'll have wasted these 3 months of cultivation. Those 3 months were the most painful time for Feng Sun. Every day during this period, he had to endure the excruciating pain of his flesh being torn open, then healed, and then torn again. By now, he had gotten used to the pain. Even if he cut off his arm now, he wouldn't know what pain was anymore. Chapter 4167. Let's begin to you. Ted by BXN0VL. Siamakron M. Haha, how interesting. The fourth prince clapped his hands. Since you people are so arrogant, why don't you make a bet with me? Well, Feng Sun couldn't make the decision on his own. Feng Wu had to make the call. What? Are you going to back off now that we're making a bet? The person behind the fourth prince taunted, and the others all laughed. Feng Wu walked up to Feng Sun and stared at the fourth prince. Fine, they'll take the bet. I'm not afraid of you. The fourth prince smiled at Feng Wu. Fine, let's make it bigger. Feng Wu said, go ahead. The fourth prince said, if you lose, you'll become my maid. How about that? Before Feng Wu could say anything, Yu Minji and Feng Sun grew anxious and wanted to hit the fourth prince. Feng Wu stopped them. I know I'm going to win, but I promised someone that I wouldn't use myself as a stake. I can't do that. Name a new price. Jun Linyun glanced at Feng Wu. Are you going to say no to such a great offer? Feng Wu couldn't believe her ears. What kind of offer was that? Then. The fourth prince pointed at Yu Minji. If your team loses, send him to the fourth prince's residence. Yu Minji was furious. Feng Sun chuckled before Yu Minji could finish. Deal. Yu Minji glared at Feng Sun. Feng Sun, you. Feng Sun patted Yu Minji on the shoulder. Yu Minji, don't worry. Boss Xiao will keep an eye on you. We won't send you away. Don't worry. Yu Minji turned his head in frustration. Although he knew that Feng Wu was bound to win, he still felt conflicted. Feng Wu chuckled and said to Yu Minji, Feng Sun is right. I'm not going to lose. Trust me. What more could Yu Minji say? What if you lose? Feng Wu stared at the fourth prince and decided that she would make him pay. The fourth prince gave it some thought and said, pick whatever you want from my residence. Feng Wu asked, are you sure? The fourth prince said, of course. Feng Wu nodded. Everyone here heard you, and a lot of people are watching outside. You won't go back on your word, will you? The fourth prince said, do you think I'll go back on my word? Let's sign an agreement. Feng Wu nodded. That's what I was waiting for. They soon signed the agreement, and someone said, if Feng Wu's team can't pass the first round, she won't get a chance to fight the fourth prince. The fourth prince stared at Feng Wu. You won't lose to Murong's team, will you? No, you're definitely going to lose. Feng Wu threw a dirty look at the fourth prince. I'm not going to lose. Go get your money ready. The fourth prince was speechless. As a matter of fact, he had never been treated like this before. However, Feng Wu seemed to intimidate him somehow, as if it was only natural that he should listen to her. How strange. Soon, the two teams were the only ones left on the stage. Feng Wu arranged the order of the players. Duan Chaoga was the first to go on the stage, followed by Feng Sun, Xin Yi, Yu Minji, and herself. After that, Feng Wu turned to Murong Linhai. Let's go, to Feng Wu's surprise. Chapter 4168. Let's fight 3U. Ted by BXN0VL. Siamakron M to Feng Wu's surprise. Murong Linhai suddenly waved at Feng Wu. We give up. What? Feng Wu wasn't the only one surprised. The crowd and the other teams were all staring at Murong Linhai in astonishment. Give up? How could Murong Linhai abstain from such an important competition? What a son had the Murong family raised. Yanxian glared at Murong Linhai. Don't tell me you've given up because you've been conquered by her beauty and want to do her a favor. Help her. Murong Linhai thought to himself. I wish I could, but I need to be capable enough to do that. Of course, Murong Linhai didn't say that aloud. Instead of answering the question, he cupped his fists at Feng Wu and said indifferently, We Imo were no match for Miss Feng Wu in this round. I wish you all the best. Feng Wu glanced at Murong Linhai and nodded. The others didn't know what to say. Feng Wu was so arrogant. Feng Wu glanced at Liang Jin when she heard no reply. Liang Jin was the host of this battle. Liang Jin smiled bitterly in his head, but he still said, Feng Wu has won this round. The next round will be the battle between the Yin Prince's residence and the Primordial Pagoda. Feng Wu and the others left the arena. I didn't know that Murong Lin Hai would forfeit. Huh. Feng Sun gloated. Crossing his arms, Yu Minji said grumpily, I was looking forward to fighting him. You don't know how he looks at Xiao Wu. What are you two talking about? Enjoy the game. Feng Wu had to cut them off. Yin Qian led her team, and the Primordial Pagoda was led by Chan Xin, a monk. Each side would send one member at first, and the winners would continue to fight on the stage, while the losing team would send a second member. The battle went on. They were evenly matched, and soon, both sides had the last player. Yin Qian was the last in her team. On the Primordial Pagoda's side, Chan Xin was the last to show up. Yin Qian was definitely more capable than Princess Yanling, but she wasn't as good as Prince Yanyu. Come to think of it, she was about the same level as Feng Sun. Feng Wu looked over her shoulder at Feng Sun, who nodded. I'm sure I can defeat her. Rubbing her chin, Feng Wu was perplexed. People of the Dian Empire were supposed to be so talented and resourceful that they could make breakthroughs much faster than outsiders. However, after Feng Sun's training, he had reached Princess Yin Qian's level. Feng Wu wasn't sure how capable the people of the Dian Empire were, so she asked Ji Xingqing, what level is Princess Yin Qian? Ji Xingqing said seriously, Princess Yin Qian is the second best student of the younger generation in the Yin Manor, second only to Prince Yanyu. That's already very impressive. Feng Wu asked, are you serious? Ji Xingqing nodded. Of course. Moreover, their family clan has invested a lot of resources in her. Therefore, among the younger generation, Yin Qian is the most talented girl. She's amazing. Feng Wu had a rough idea. Meanwhile, the battle was coming to an end. With her clever moves, Princess Yin Qian finally won the battle against the Primordial Pagoda. Liang Jin announced the next battle. Formless Sword Sect versus Red Feather Room. The Formless Sword Sect was good with swords, and Red Feather Room only had female members. The battle was very fast. Chapter 4169. Let's fight for, soon, the Formless Sword Sect won. Good job. The second senior brother of the Formless Sword Sect cupped his fists at Fairy Ziyun of Red Feather Room. The faces of the women of the Red Feather Room darkened, but they still accepted the result in the end. After a short battle, the four teams who won were Feng Wu, the Dynasty, Yin Family, and the Formless Sword Sect. Liang Jin's Mountain Sea Academy had been defeated, and he would be lying if he said that he wasn't sad. But Ji Xingqing comforted him. Senior brother, do you think you could defeat the Dynasty team? Do you think you could defeat the fourth prince? Liang Jin hesitated for a while before shaking his head. Ji Xingqing asked, Senior brother, are you confident that you can defeat Feng Wu's team? Liang Jin shook his head. Of course not. Ji Xingqing said, that's it then. We can't defeat either Dynasty team or Feng Wu's team. So what's the point of competing? Only the first place will be rewarded this time. The second place is useless. Liang Jin nodded. You're right. What we need to do now is to learn something from their battles. The Dragon's Gate banquet in the Imperial capital will be our real chance. Ji Xingqing nodded. The Mountain Sea Academy has that card up our sleeves. I'm sure senior brother Jinan won't disappoint us. Liang Jin asked the four captains to make the draw. The fourth prince, Feng Wu, Yi Erjian, and Yin Qian from the Yin Manor all rolled the dice. The fourth prince picked Yin Qian. Feng Wu got the Formless Sword Sect. It was obvious that the fourth prince was very calm, and Yin Qian looked embarrassed. The result was the same. The fourth prince easily defeated Yin Qian's team. Thank you. The fourth prince cupped his fists and beamed at Yin Qian. Although she had lost, Yin Qian didn't look very angry. She cupped her fists and smiled bitterly. Your Royal Highness, I'm afraid that you're going to take all the pills. Would you like to sell one to me? The fourth prince waved his hand. Well, it's not completely out of the question. ITLL depend on what price Sister Yin Qian is willing to pay. They began to talk about the rewards. Feng Wu raised her eyebrows a little. Meanwhile, Yu Minji cupped his fists and said to them with a half smile, do you really think that the pill is yours? Are you going to share the spoils now? Aren't you afraid of losing? The fourth prince's face darkened. Yin Xian threw a dirty look at Yuminji. Hey, watch your language. Many people were talking about Yuminji as well, for they believed that the fourth prince's team was bound to win. How could they not? That was impossible. Yuminji gave her a half-smile. What do you mean by hey? Am I wrong? Tell me, what did I say wrong? Yin Xian stared at Yuminji coldly. Instead of answering his question, she snorted. You should count yourself lucky that you didn't have the chance to fight me. Otherwise, before Yuminji could say anything, Feng Sun smirked. You are the lucky one. Otherwise, you wouldn't be standing here talking to us. Princess Yin Xian was suffocated. Chapter 4170. Let's fight. 5. Princess Yin Xian felt suffocated. She couldn't for the life of her figure out how a commoner from the wilderness could challenge her. She then turned to the formless sword sect. Brother Yi, please teach these people a lesson for me. The formless sword sect had always been close to Prince Yan's residence, and Yi Urjian knew Princess Yin Xian well. The two families had even considered getting married. Therefore, Yi Urjian nodded. Of course, and they weren't the only ones watching. Normally, all 4 forces and 6 sects could watch it, but because it was a battle between youngsters, the elders might not have time to watch it. They didn't have time to watch the first 17 trials on Dynasty Road. As for the final battle, they had anticipated that the 4th prince would win, so they didn't want to watch it either. Therefore, only a handful of families were watching the battle. Prince Yin was watching. So was the Luo family. The head of the Mountain Sea Academy was also watching, and next to him was Qiu Jinnan, the genius of the college. On one side of the arena was the Formless Sword sect, and Feng Wu's team was on the other. Yuminji glanced at Feng Wu. You don't have to fight this battle. You're the last to go. Feng Wu said, well, for once, Feng Sun had the same opinion as Yuminji. He nodded at Feng Wu and said, that's right. This is a rare opportunity. Don't try to take it away from us. Just wait behind us. You'll never get to fight. We'll make it very clear for you. Before Feng Wu could say anything, the members of the Formless Sword sect flared up. Yuminji and Feng Sun didn't try to keep their voices down when they said those words. Yi Urjian smirked. How arrogant of you. Since you're so arrogant, we'll show you what we've got. The bosses watching the battle outside didn't like Feng Wu's team either. Which team is this? Lord Yin frowned at Feng Wu's team. Standing next to him, Yin Yu recognized Feng Wu right away, and his face darkened. Yin Yu had told him about what happened in the Junwu Empire, so he said, Father, the girl in the red dress is Feng Wu, and the other 4 are her friends. Feng Wu. Lord Yin found the name familiar, as if he had heard it somewhere before. Yin Yu reminded him, the Junwu Kingdom. Is she the girl that Hu Yin Yanba is protecting? Hu Yin Yanba was Mu Jia's pupil, and he was one of the most capable cultivators on this continent. That was why Lord Yin gave Feng Wu a second look. Crossing his hands behind his back, the Lord said indifferently, but the girl isn't all that capable. Yin Yu opened his mouth, but didn't say anything. Lord Yin was only watching the last round, but Prince Yin had been watching Feng Wu since she entered Dynasty Road. Yin Yu had spent a lot of spiritual crystals in the past few months to see what Feng Wu had gone through on her way to the Imperial capital. He had almost used up his own vault. Just then, the two teams started fighting. Feng Wu's team started with Duan Chaoga. Chapter 4171. Let's Fight. 6U. TED by BXN0VL. Siamakronim Chaoga had indeed made some great progress, but she was still a little weaker than the other geniuses. Hence, she didn't last long enough to pass the first round. Xiao Wu. Chaoga looked at Feng Wu gingerly, feeling utterly guilty. That was expected, and Feng Wu didn't think much of it. She only encouraged Chaoga. You're doing well enough. Just think about it. 3 months ago, you couldn't even withstand a single strike from him, could you? Hearing that, Duan Chaoga tilted her head, gave it some thought, and nodded. That's right. I'm making progress already, but I need to work harder. After that, Feng Wu didn't need to remind her. She sat down cross-legged in the noisy place, and started cultivating right away. However, many people sneered at Duan Cheage's defeat and said that Feng Wu's team wasn't good enough. Their tone was full of sarcasm. Members of the fourth prince's team all snorted. The members of the Formless Sword sect didn't think much of Feng Sun and the others either. However, it was like what Feng Sun and Yuminji said. Feng Wu wouldn't be needed in this battle. If Feng Wu hadn't told them to keep some cards up their sleeves at first, Yuminji wouldn't have been given the chance. Thump! In the end, Yuminji kicked Yi Erjian, the leader of the team, off the stage. Resting his hands on his waist, he looked around and asked, "Who else is there? Bring it on." Feng Wu smacked her forehead. Why was he so silly? Meanwhile, the members of the Formless Sword sect were furious with Yuminji. Liang Jin announced, "Team Feng Wu has won the battle. The Dynasty team and Feng Wu's team will fight the last battle, and the winner will get the pill." The audience no longer looked down on Feng Wu's team as before, because Feng Wu's team had indeed made it this far with their own capability. No matter how loudly the Formless Sword sect shouted, they still lost. The eyes of the onlookers lit up as well. "Well, that's interesting." Lord Yin smiled. "Feng Wu's team is quite something." Yin Yes' face darkened, and there was an indescribable look in his eyes. Back in the Junwo Empire a few months ago, both Yuminji and Feng Sun were only spiritual overlords. They hadn't even reached the spiritual saint stage yet. However, in the past few months, because of their talent and the cultivation resources Feng Wu found, right now, they were almost as capable as Yin Yu was. Damn it! At that thought, he clenched his fists. He had to kill them all as soon as possible. Otherwise, they would become a burden to him in the future. In a few more months, he might not even be their match. Meanwhile, in the Luo family, Luo Zilin said to his brother, "Brother, look, that's our little Feng Wu." Luo Zihin, the eldest brother of the Luo family, and the first in line to inherit the family, was looking at Feng Wu with a gentle look in his eyes. "She's been through a lot," Luo Zihin said gently, sounding sympathetic for Feng Wu. Luo Zilin nodded. "That's right. She's been through a lot out there, but I didn't know she could be so capable. She has taken most of the treasures. If I had known." Chapter 4172. Let's Fight, 7, U. TED by BX0VL. Siamakron M. Luo Zilin said, "If I had known, I wouldn't have gone to Dynasty Road with Yin Yu back then. I would have followed Xiao Wu and become her patron. That would have been wonderful." Luo Zihin said grumpily, "Didn't you see how dangerous her journey was?" When Luo Zilin came back, he took Luo Zihin with him to watch Feng Wu's performance on Dynasty Road. At first, the two brothers thought that Feng Wu would be lucky if she could get out alive, but the girl's reaction shocked them. She had narrowly escaped death several times, but she was so lucky and had received so many cultivation resources. "Is it the final battle? Is it?" The Luo brothers rushed in. Luo Zilin was the fourth son of the Luo family, and his other two older brothers were also here to watch the final battle. If their father hadn't been busy with some important business, he would be here as well. The four brothers of the Luo family had been watching Feng Wu for months. Although they hadn't met her yet, they were already very familiar with her and liked her from the bottom of their hearts. The head of the Mountain Sea Academy was very calm because his team wasn't fighting his battle. Liang Jin isn't up to the task after all. He looked over his shoulder at Xiao Zhenan. "In the end, you're still going to be the head of the college." Xiao Zhenan nodded. "We still have a few senior brothers and sisters." "Master, please don't worry." His senior brothers and sisters. The principal smiled bitterly and didn't say anything else. Meanwhile, the final battle finally started. At first, only Lord Yan's residence, the Mountain Sea Academy, and the Luo family were watching, but now the heads of the other sects were watching as well. Dynasty Road only opened once every 3 years, and geniuses would be born among these people. Would the fourth prince become famous this time? If he could defeat all his opponents in one go, he would probably be as important to his majesty as the crown prince. After all, the crown prince used to be first as well. The fourth prince stared at Feng Wu. To Feng Wu, The battle might only be a competition for the pill, but to the fourth prince, it could decide if he could become one of the candidates for the throne. Chowga was the first to fight. She had just made a breakthrough and become a spiritual saint, which amazed many people. Everyone looked at Duan Chowga in amazement. After the battle, Duan Chowga was covered in blood. While she flew off the stage, she also took a member of the dynasty team with her. The first round was a draw, and each side lost a player. Wait, Master Chilean, the head of the Red Feather Room, looked pleasantly surprised. Her quality, talent, and heartless cultivation technique are perfect for our sect. Master Chilean's disciples looked at one another in bewilderment. The eldest disciple couldn't help but say, Master, junior sister Vian is a little more talented than her, isn't she? Master Chilean didn't answer the question, for even she couldn't tell who was more talented, Ziyun or Miss Chowga. Chapter 4173, Competition 1. Let's go. Master Chilean headed for the door. The other disciples looked at one another in bewilderment. Were they in a hurry to wait at the gate of Dynasty Road? Well, meanwhile, the second round started. It was Feng Sun's turn, while Zhu Mingming was the one sent by the Dynasty team. The Zhu family was where the fourth prince's mother came from. Cousin, the fourth prince stared at Zhu Mingming, hinting that he had to kick Feng Sun out. A relaxed smile appeared on Zhu Mingming's face. He said indifferently, It's not a big deal. Just wait and see. Then, in the end, Feng Sun kicked Zhu Mingming off the stage, but Feng Sun remained on the stage, although he looked badly injured as well. It just so happened that, at that critical moment, Feng Sun had the impulse to make a breakthrough. Feng Wu took Feng Sun off the stage right away. Just sit there and make your breakthrough. Don't worry about the battle. The others were speechless when they saw this. Not only had Duan Chowga made a breakthrough, but Feng Sun was also going to make a breakthrough. What was wrong with Feng Wu's team? Zhu Mingming was dumbfounded as well. He looked from himself to Feng Sun and couldn't believe his eyes. The two of them were evenly matched just then, but Feng Sun was making a breakthrough now. And when that happened, Feng Sun would be so much better than him. At that thought, Zhu Mingming looked at the fourth prince involuntarily. Meanwhile, the fourth prince didn't look too happy. He had a solemn look on his face, and his eyes darkened a little. The crown prince was watching the battle. Seeing this, he smiled and told the eunuch next to him, Go fetch his majesty. This is getting more and more interesting. Seeing this, the Luo brothers couldn't help but laugh. Interesting. Maybe Xiao Wu really will win this battle. The head of the Mountain Sea Academy's eyes lit up, and Xiao Zhenan couldn't hide his excitement. Master, this Feng Sun is the head of the Mountain Sea Academy nodded. You're right. His constitution is especially suitable for that cultivation technique. Let's go. The head of the Mountain Sea Academy, who had been disinterested, was also heading for the destination of Dynasty Road. Before long, Lord Yin, the Mountain Sea Academy, the Luo family, and the Red Feather Room all gathered at the end of Dynasty Road. The heads of the clans exchanged looks, and each had a plan. Because Feng Wu's team came from outside the Empire, they had no masters in the Dine Empire. If they didn't recruit such a genius, when would they? Meanwhile, the battle was still going on. Xian Yi was the third player, and Chun Yi, the fourth prince's most valued study companion, was going up against him. If you lose, do as you see fit. Before Chen Jing went on the stage, the fourth prince was by his side and was threatening him in a low voice. Chun Yi cupped his fist at Prince. Your Royal Highness, don't worry. I'm going to win. Although Chunaran was the fourth prince's study companion, the Chun family wasn't just any family. They were one of the most influential families in the Dine Empire, and Chun Jing was the most promising member of the younger generation. He enjoyed the best cultivation resources of the clan. Bring it on. The two of them were evenly matched. It was the longest battle and the most thrilling one. Xian Yi was covered with cuts and bruises, and Chun Yi wasn't any better. What's his name? Lord Yin asked Yin Yu. Chapter 4174, Competition 2. It was obvious that Lord Yin was interested in Xian Yi. Yin Yu frowned a little, but still said Xian Yi. His name is Xian Yi. Lord Yin frowned a little. You didn't mention him when you came back from the Junwu Empire. Yin Yu said, he wasn't a spiritual saint when we were in the Junwu Empire, so I didn't mention him. Lord Yin nodded. He's qualified now. Do you know what to do? Yin Yu said yes. Lord Yin, what's that supposed to mean? Are you going to take him away from the Formless Sword sect? Ha ha ha. Someone laughed and came toward Prince Yin. Lord Yin recognized the voice right away. Yi Buki, what are you doing here? Yi Buki, the head of the Formless Sword sect, was known as the fierce sword of the world. He was known for his unruly behavior and mysterious whereabouts. Lord Yin didn't expect to meet him here today. Yi Buki crossed his arms and looked at the battlefield. He then said to Lord Yin, this Xian Yi is impressive. Hell suit the Formless Sword sect. Prince Yin asked, is the Formless Sword sect trying to compete for him? With Yi Buki laughed. So, Lord Yin, are you trying to take him away from me? Lord Yin snorted. Yi Buki said, if there's a genius in the outer region, all 4 forces and 6 sects will have a chance to recruit them. It's not like they belong to you. If you really want them, I'd advise you to show some sincerity. There's no reason for him to follow you just because you want him. Lord Yin smirked. I'm recruiting him. Of course, he's coming. What a joke. Yi Buki guffawed. Fine, fine. Feel free to do whatever you want. We'll see if he'll go to Lord Yan's residence or the Formless Sword sect. Xian Yi had no idea that 2 families were already competing over him before the battle was over. And he glanced at Lord Yin, but didn't say anything. He didn't dare to admit what he had done to offend Feng Wu and her people in the Junwu Empire, and it would be very difficult to recruit them now. By then, the battle had finally ended. After 36 strikes, Xian Yi finally pushed Chun Yi off the stage. Xian Yi of Feng Wu's team has won this battle, Liang Jin announced. The crowd watched Feng Wu fight with different looks in their eyes. Many people have been talking about how lucky the team was to make it to the finals, but no one said that anymore. If they had relied on their luck, did it mean that the 4th Prince's team had lost the battles on purpose? The 4th Prince's team only has 2 players left, while Feng Wu's team has 3. It's going to be a little confusing. Not necessarily. The 4th Prince hasn't joined the battle yet. Once he does, Xian Yi and Yu Minji won't be his match. But don't they still have Feng Wu? I bet Feng Wu isn't that capable. That can't be. She's their last card up their sleeves. She could be a trump card or a cripple. I think it's very likely that Feng Wu is useless because she hasn't made a move yet. I think she's scared. Was that it? Many people actually believed it. Chapter 4175 Competition 3U TED by BXN0VL. Xiaomacron and Feng Wu's team still had 3 people left, and they were Feng Wu, Yu Minji, and Xian Yi. However, there were only 2 people left on the 4th Prince's side, the 4th Prince and Yang Shu, the genius teenager. The 4th Prince stared at Yang Shu. You've been doing a great job so far, and I've given you the resources you need this time. Yang Shu, don't disappoint me. Yang Shu nodded solemnly. The 4th Prince took a deep breath and warned him again. My brother has to be watching this battle. If I lose, many people on my side will have other plans. This battle is very important to our future. Yang Shu nodded again. As expected, after Yang Shu entered the arena, Xian Yi was severely injured and lost after only half of the battle. The 4th Prince smiled. Yang Shu didn't disappoint him. However, Yu Minji soon showed up, and Yang Shu was defeated. The 4th Prince was speechless. Meanwhile, everyone in and out of the arena was staring at Yu Minji in astonishment. Many people were even asking who he was. So did the crowd outside. Yi Buki of the Formless Sword sect nodded. He's a nice teenager. In terms of cultivation talent, he's probably slightly better than Xian Yi. He added, but Xian Yi is better at the sword. Yu Minji is a good choice for the Murong family. He'll suit the Luo family as well. I also find him very suitable. The heads of the clan treated each other with great respect, but this was a rare opportunity for them to compete for genius. and none of them would give in. After all, almost all the geniuses who were on the Dynasty Road before had come from the 4 forces and 6 major sections. Who could possibly recruit them? They were the treasures of their families and clans, and no one would be able to recruit them. But things were different now. It just so happened that these kids were all from other regions and had no sect or foundation in the Dayan Empire. Moreover, they were all geniuses with great talents. Every sect would want them. Having them would be such a great deal. Hence, none of the masters gave in. Even the head of the Luo family had to fly over here to wait, fearing that someone would take Feng Wu away. While the heads had high hopes for the young genius they wanted to win over, the battle was still going on inside. Right now, Yu Minji and the 4th prince were fighting. Feng Wu's team still had Feng Wu left, but the 4th prince was on his own. If the 4th prince lost, the battle would be over. If the 4th prince won, the final battle would be between Feng Wu and him. Feng Wu saw that Yu Minji, who had always been unperturbed, had finally become serious. Every move he made was very precise and methodical. I didn't expect Yu Minji to make such rapid progress. Seeing that the battle was still going on, Feng Wu couldn't help but sigh at Feng's son. Before I came to Dynasty Road, Yu Minji was nowhere near as capable as the 4th prince. But now, it's hard to tell who's going to win. It won't be long before he exceeds the 4th prince. Feng Wu didn't try to keep her voice down, so everyone close to her heard it, including the 4th prince. He gave Feng Wu a dirty look. Feng Wu shrugged. Why are you staring at me? You're just not that good. However, the 4th prince threw off his hand and turned to leave. Just then, Feng Wu and Liang Jin changed the subject to the 4th prince, and all eyes were on him. The 4th prince felt a chill run down his spine. Feng Wu asked hesitantly, "Your Royal Highness, where are you going? Don't you have the pills? Are you going to take what's not yours?" The 4th prince was astonished, turned around, and smirked at Feng Wu. "So what if it's true? You're just a commoner." Everyone was intimidated by the 4th prince's ruthless tone and didn't dare to speak. Chapter 4177. Competition 5. Feng Wu wasn't intimidated at all. Crossing her arms, she smiled at the 4th prince. "Well, I see that you've lost. Are you trying to intimidate me, like a prince now?" Feng Wu turned to Liang Jin. "Didn't you say that all the major clans were watching this battle? So they'll see keep his word." The 4th prince was speechless. Could Feng Wu be any more annoying? Prince as someone who wouldn't on any other day, the 4th prince would have taken the pills, but with all the big shots watching, he couldn't be so willful. It just so happened that the 4th prince was used to enjoying privileges, so he hated Feng Wu to the bone. "There you go." The 4th prince threw a bottle of pills at Feng Wu. If Feng Wu wasn't capable enough, her head would be smashed to pieces by the bottle. "Watch out!" Ji Xingqing and Liang Jin cried out, but they were too far away from Feng Wu to stop the bottle. Yu Minji caught the bottle with one hand and raised an eyebrow at the 4th prince. "I've defeated you. Who are you trying to scare?" The 4th prince was so angry that he didn't know what to say. "There you go." Yu Minji handed the bottle to Feng Wu. Some people looked at Feng Wu suspiciously. Feng Wu hadn't made a move this whole time. What was her level? Or was she a hidden cripple, as everyone had speculated? Just then, they heard a voice. "Your Royal Highness is here. Lord Yin is here. Master Luo is here. The head of Red Feather Room is here. The head of the Formless Sword Sect is here. Master Morong is here. The head of the Mountain Sea Academy is here. Apart from the Sacred Mu Cliff and the Primordial Pagoda, all the heads of the other 7 forces were here." The Dayan Empire was represented by the eldest prince, who was the most popular among the princes. Therefore, he represented the empire more than the 4th prince did. "Would you like to come to the Red Feather Room?" Master Chilian quickly walked up to Chaoga and smiled at her. Duan Chaoga hesitated. She turned around and looked at Feng Wu in bewilderment. Before Master Chilian could say anything, her eldest pupil said, "We're from the Red Feather Room, which is where women of Dayan cultivate. Your Flower Valley's cultivation technique that you're using comes from our sect." Duan Chaoga had learned the cultivation technique from Hua Wuqing, but the manual was incomplete, and she had been stuck there. Therefore, when Master Chilean mentioned the cultivation technique, Duan Chaoga was tempted, but she went up to Feng Wu and shook her head at Master Chilean. She wasn't going to leave Feng Wu. Seeing Luo Zilin winking at her, Feng Wu waved at him. Luo Zilin whispered in Feng Wu's ear, Master Chilean has similar cultivation techniques to Chaoga. They're of the same heritage. Haven't you been trying to improve her cultivation? Let her go to the Red Feather Room. I promise you that she'll make great progress. Feng Wu hesitated. But the Red Feather Room is, Luo Zilin said. The Red Feather Room is an aloof place and has never been involved in any internal strife. It's a great cultivation sect. Look at Master Chilean. She looks like she has found a treasure. I'm sure she'll put a lot of effort into Chaoga. I think she's going to become the next head of the sect. Chapter 4178. Competition 6. You found a fragment of the cultivation technique on Dynasty Road, didn't you? There's a complete one in the Red Feather Room. Master Chilean knew how much Feng Wu's words would affect Chaoga, so she spoke to Feng Wu in a serious tone. Feng Wu frowned. What if the Red Feather Room forces Chaoga to do things she doesn't want to do in the future? Master Chilean cut to the chase. If she doesn't want to do something, no one will force her. If that really happens, she can leave the Red Feather Room at any time. Moreover, after she comes to the Red Feather Room, she'll be my final disciple and the revered junior sister of the entire sect. If anyone dares to pick on her, he'll be the first to intervene. Everyone gave Feng Wu and Master Chilean strange looks. They were surprised that Feng Wu didn't want Duan Chaoga to join the Red Feather Room. Did she know what a great opportunity that was? They were even more surprised when they saw that Master Chilean would agree to anything in order to get Duan Chaoga. That was beyond their expectations. Is Duan Chaoga that talented? Did Master Chilean have to do this? Someone murmured in Fairy Xian's ear. Fairy Xian's face darkened. Someone next to her said, Duan Chaoga is indeed very talented and capable. What's more, she has risen to her current level in another world, which means that she still has more potential to explore. Moreover, her cultivation technique comes from the Red Feather Room. If I were Master Chilean, I wouldn't have given up on her either. It's just that Master Chilean has always been so proud. The fact that she can bring herself to do such a thing shows how important Duan Chaoga is to the sect. Fairy Xian's face darkened. In the end, Chaoga agreed to go to the Red Feather Room, but she had made it clear that if the Red Feather Room made her uncomfortable, she could leave at any moment. Feng Wu and the others didn't want to part with you, but they all knew that going to the Red Feather Room would help Chaoga's future. Hence, they said they would visit Chaoga later. To Feng Sun's surprise, it was his turn next. Feng Sun, would you like to join us? He'll welcome you on behalf of the Luo family. Luo Zilin turned around and grinned at Feng Sun. Feng Sun pointed at himself. Me? Are you sure you're inviting me? However, someone cut Luo Zilin off before he could say anything. The Murong family is a nice place, too. Murong Linhai stepped out and smiled at Feng Sun. I forfeited the first round voluntarily. For that, you should at least consider the Murong family. Feng Sun mumbled. Even if you fought us, do you think you would have one? Murong Linhai didn't know what to say. Just then, the head of the Mountain Sea Academy came out to invite Feng Sun. The Mountain Sea Academy? Feng Sun hesitated and turned to look at Feng Wu. Qiu Jinan said to Feng Sun in a serious tone, Your ultimate yang body and the cultivation technique you're using are of the same lineage as ours. They'll be very beneficial to your cultivation. The head of the Luo family nodded at Feng Wu. For some unknown reason, Feng Wu felt very close to the head of the Luo family, as if she had met him before. The Mountain Sea Academy might be a good choice, Feng Wu suggested to Feng Sun. Feng Sun said, But I want to stay with you. Chapter 4179. I'm your brother, 1. Udded by Bexenville. Siamacron M. Luo Zilin said grumpily. The Dragon's Gate banquet is in 6 months. It'll be so easy for you to see Feng Wu then. Feng Sun turned to Feng Wu. Are you going to the Mountain Sea Academy then? Feng Wu. Of course, the Mountain Sea Academy would welcome her, but Feng Wu shook her head. I don't think he'll go, but it seems that it'll really suit you. Feng Wu had wanted to take Feng Sun to the Luo family, but if the Mountain Sea Academy was more suitable for him, she would prefer it. All right. Feng Sun agreed in the end. When it was Xian, Yi, and Yu Mingye's turn, many other sects tried to invite them. However, in the end, Xian, Yi went to the formless sword sect, while Yu Mingyi went to the eldest prince's royal family. Feng Wu looked concerned when Yu Mingyi winked at her. Don't worry, they'll come to you as soon as I'm done. However, if you really miss me, why don't you come to the dynasty team with me? Feng Wu punched him. When it was Feng Wu's turn, she went to the Luo family. Exactly how capable is Feng Wu? I've never seen her fight. Is she really that weak? Maybe the Luo family has made the wrong choice. That was what many people thought. However, Ji Xingxing and Liang Jin couldn't help but smile bitterly when they saw that Feng Wu had gone to the Luo family. Feng Wu was one of the most talented cultivators with great potential. If she joined the Luo family would rise even higher. I don't think Feng Wu is good enough, Yi Erjian said with a smirk. Murong Linhai glanced at him but didn't say anything. Feng Wu isn't good enough? Soon you'll see how good she is. After that, the bosses bid farewell with cupped fists and left with the geniuses they had recruited. Duan Chaoga went to the Red Feather Room. Feng Sun went to the Mountain Sea Academy. Xian, Yi went to the Formless Sword Sect. Yu Mingyi went with the royal family. Feng Wu followed Luo Zilin and the head of the Luo family back home. The Luo family. The Luo family greeted Feng Wu with the highest standards when she arrived. Feng Wu tugged at Luo Zilin. Isn't that a little too grand? Luo Zilin grinned. It's not grand at all. I think it's just right. Feng Wu said, Didn't you say that you were going to tell me about my relationship with the Luo family? Can you tell me now? Luo Zilin grinned again. Father and the others are ready to tell you. Come with me. Let's go. When she got to the study, Feng Wu saw that the head of the Luo family was sitting in the middle of the room, and 4 teenagers stood behind him. The first one was a little older and seemed to be married, but the other 3 didn't seem to be. They were all smiling at Feng Wu in a friendly manner. Your mother is my sister, so you have to call me uncle. The head of the Luo family nodded at Feng Wu. He was usually a serious and reserved man, but because of his joy, he was smiling as well. That's right. I'm your 4th brother. I didn't take advantage of you, did I? Luo Zilin had worked very hard to keep the secret. Now that his father had made it clear, he began to yell at Feng Wu. I'm your eldest brother. I'm your 2nd brother. I'm your 3rd brother. The other 3 teenagers nodded at Feng Wu in a friendly manner as well, and they couldn't hide the joy on their faces. Chapter 4180. I'm your brother, too. Uttered by Bexenville. Siamacron and back in the Junwu Empire, Feng Wu had already guessed something from Luo Xilan's behavior. She had thought that they were related, but she didn't expect them to be so close. My uncle and brothers? Feng Wu didn't get to finish her sentence before someone answered with a nod. Feng Wu said, That is to say, my mother's surname is Luo. Are you sure you're not mistaken? It would be such a joke if they had mistaken her for someone else, Master Luo nodded. Your mother's surname is Luo, and she was born and raised in Dian. Something happened to her, and we thought she was killed, but we've been looking into the matter. There was an abnormal activity in Lord Yan's residence this time, and Zilin followed them. I didn't expect to find your mother by accident. Unfortunately, she had lost her memory by then, and she was as naive as a child. That was why he couldn't get much information out of her. Feng Wu said anxiously, My mother is missing. The head of the Luo family looked at Feng Wu and said, Your mother went missing, and we found out who took her. That's why we brought you here and told you about it. Feng Wu asked solemnly, Who was it? After some thought, Master Luo said, Your father. What? Feng Wu stared at him in disbelief. Her father? Feng Wu had always thought that her father was dead. Wait, She received news a short while ago that her father was supposed to be in the Dayan Empire. So he's still alive? Is he really in the Dayan Empire? How is he now? Why didn't he see me when he took my mother and Xiaoqi away? Feng Wu had a lot of questions, but Master Luo only shook his head. Because he's too ashamed to see you. Feng Wu asked why. The head of the Luo family glanced at Luo Zilin. As a senior member of the family, he couldn't bring himself to say such things. Hence, Luo Zilin told Feng Wu the truth. Feng Wu was astonished. She stared at Luo Zilin. What? Luo Zilin nodded at Feng Wu. It's true. That's impossible. Feng Wu couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe that a supposed dead man had shown up in the Dayan Empire and become the Princess Royal's husband. What's going on, then? If he is the Princess Royal's husband, why did he take my mother and Xiaoqi away? What does he want? And that Princess Royal? Feng Wu didn't know anything about the Dayan Empire at first, but she had learned a little from Yin Yu and Luo Zilin, and Princess Royal didn't sound like a nice person to Feng Wu, because she had colluded with Lord Yan's manor to destroy the Junwu Empire. Luo Zilin said, We haven't figured out exactly what he wants to do, but your mother and Xiaoqi are indeed in the Princess Royal's residence now. Feng Wu asked, Did they give my mother and Xiaoqi a hard time? Luo Zilin said, She would have, but with the Luo family around, the Princess Royal won't dare to do anything. However, that won't be the case for long. Now that you're here, you can make the decision yourself. Feng Wu took a deep breath to digest the news. Her father was the Princess Royal's husband. Feng Wu smiled bitterly inwardly. She would rather not have such a father. I'm going to the Princess Royal's residence. Chapter 4181 Princess Royal's Husband 1 Utted by Bexenville. Siamacron M in the Princess Royal's residence. This was the first time that Feng Wu had ever met her own father. The middle-aged man wore a purple robe and looked rather serious. Feng Wu realized right away that he was a capable cultivator, at least more capable than she was. Feng Wu was already a spiritual sovereign, which was one of the rare cases in the Dayan Empire. However, Feng Yambing was even more powerful than she was and had completely suppressed Feng Wu. Feng Wu narrowed her eyes and looked at him with hostility. Gosh, you're such a pair of father and daughter. Why are you staring at each other like two cross-eyed birds? A pleasant voice came from a short distance away. Feng Wu didn't look back, but the woman casually walked up to Feng Wu, looked her in the eye, and suddenly smiled. This is Xiao Wu, isn't it? It's been years since we last met, but she's already so pretty. Feng Wu stared at the Princess Royal of the Dayan Empire. Have you met me before? The Princess Royal smiled brightly. Of course. I held you in my arms when you were little, and you don't remember it at all. Well, you were only a baby then. How can you remember? That was interesting. The Princess Royal had met Feng Wu when she was a baby. So, the question is, where did you meet me, and in what capacity? Instead of feeling embarrassed, Princess Royal chuckled. She then turned to Feng Yambing. Honey, Xiao Wu is quite serious. She looks at me as if I've stolen her father. Feng Wu glanced at the Princess Royal. This Princess Royal was harder to handle than she had expected. If she was easily provoked by Feng Wu's words, she wouldn't be easy to handle. However, her indifference made it impossible to read her mind. But Feng Wu had never been afraid of anyone. She smirked. Don't try to change the subject. Let's face it. What? Is that question difficult to answer, or are you afraid? How dare you? Feng Yambing scolded Feng Wu. However, Feng Wu wasn't intimidated. She smirked and said, So, when were you and Princess Royal together? Was it before or after you married my mother? Or was it when my mother was pregnant with me? Is it that hard to answer? Do you think I won't be able to find out if you don't answer? Do you take me for an idiot? Feng Yambing was furious. He had always considered himself a decent man, but he had never expected such a sharp-tongued, defiant daughter. Shut up! Feng Yambing bellowed and charged at Feng Wu. A figure blocked his way. It was Luo Zibo, the eldest brother of the Luo family. He stood in front of Feng Wu and stared at Feng Yambing coldly. That's very impressive. Luo Zibo gave him a half-smile. You may not consider Xiao Wu your daughter, but the Luo family treats her like our own child. You can't hurt her. Feng Yambing threw a dirty look at Feng Wu. He didn't invite her here to hurt her. The Princess Royal gave Feng Yambing a meaningful look, and he nodded. He forced a smile. Xiao Wu, that's not what I meant. It's been years since we last met, and it's inevitable that we're not familiar with each other. There were some misunderstandings between us, but I'm your father, and that's a fact that can't be changed. Feng Yambing wanted to build a relationship, but Feng Wu only waved him off. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.